Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing Tesla further in detail. I like to just do an analysis every few days or so, just talking about my recent thoughts and predictions for Tesla in the future, and of course just analyzing the stock further and looking at the movements that it has made recently. So as always, if you appreciate this Tesla-oriented content, then please make sure to smash that like button. It really does help me out, and I think that we've been getting more and more Tesla viewers over to the channel recently subscribing. So if you are a new viewer, feel free to say hi in the comment section, and I'll try to reply to you. But like I said earlier, if you enjoy these types of videos, just please make sure to smash that like button. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, and it also just makes me feel good, so I greatly appreciate it. But anyways, like I said, I've already done a video on the portfolio for today, so just to run through that really quick, $5,000 gains for today so far, pretty much counting both the after hours and normal market hours. And the majority of that growth is thanks to Tesla stock. Yes, we had a huge day for Apple as well, but around 50% of my holdings in my portfolio are Tesla only. So with that being said, we had a huge day for Tesla, plus 8.40%, which is around $4,100 in gains. And so far, just in a matter of 7 months, we have made around $24,000 on Tesla stock. So just to address the price movements recently, we have finally rebounded off of this low point right here on July 24th, where at one point we hit $1,415 per share. And if we break that down even more, the weekly goes a little bit more in depth, in which we see a low point of $13.72 per share on the 24th at 9:40 a.m. So we were hitting a low point, and thankfully for this Monday, we finally got rescued with a little bit of a recovery on the share prices. And I think that's because people realize pretty much anything under $1,500, and especially when you're under $1,400, is kind of a really solid price given the time being for the future if you're going to be investing in the long term. So I think people are realizing that under $1,500 and especially under $1,400, it's a solid pickup in their opinion. That's what it's seeming like, at least from the market, because as we know, today's movement was driven by simply just more people buying than the amount of people selling, and that's why we had such a huge move upwards today. So I wouldn't be surprised if we stay within this $1,500 range just within the next few weeks or so. But as we start nearing this September 22nd date for Tesla Battery Investor Day in Fremont, which actually includes 2 major meetings, not just 1 but 2, and I think as we get nearer towards that date, then we may see the stock price start to shoot upwards a little bit, and that could be factored in maybe a little bit earlier on than we're expecting. So we could actually just see the stock skyrocket within the next few weeks or so, because some investors may already be factoring in Battery Day coming up soon with some huge announcements. And I think that there is going to be some groundbreaking things announced on Battery Day. For one thing, it has been delayed so much to a point where people have a lot of high expectations, and I'm really hoping that nobody is going to be disappointed, but I don't think so when that's the case with Tesla and Elon Musk. They really like to surprise us with things, and they definitely surprised us with a Cybertruck. At least from what I'm familiar with, I don't even think the Cybertruck was leaked beforehand, so that was huge for people as well. It was such a huge surprise, and it kind of beat everyone's expectations in every way possible when it came to the mileage, the durability. Yes, we saw them, break the glass on the stream and stuff like that, but a lot of us were mind blown at what they've been able to accomplish with the Cybertruck, and at least for their plans for the future. And I think they're going to successfully run through that line and blow all of our minds when it finally releases. But throughout these events, there's always that consistency of us being mind blown by the Tesla product. So I would love to see some really groundbreaking announcements, especially revolved around battery production, whether it's a new factory announcement dedicated purely for the production of batteries, or if it's just them talking about some major progress that they've made with research and development on the batteries. Either way, I think it's going to be huge news, and it just depends on these next few months or so, these next few weeks, if people start factoring in that day early, if it's already factored into the current stock price, or if people are going to wait a little bit closer to that September 22nd date to start buying the stock more. But I think regardless, at least from now to September 22nd, unless there is another stock market crash between then, I think the stock price will be higher than what it is at currently. I think we could see near maybe 1,700 by the 22nd. Now, as I've said before, a lot of people sell off before big news. They sell before the news, or they sell on the day of news, and then some people sell after they get the positive results from the news and take that profit then. So it's untelling where the stock price may go in the future. I'm one of these people that thinks that Tesla could hit 2,000 by the end of the year easily. And I think we could possibly go past 1,700 by the 22nd of September. But I think if we're just having like a little bit of a reserved approach to this and being a little bit more safe, I think it would be more likely to see like a $1,600, $1,700 share price number by September 22nd. And that's a little bit reserved in my opinion, but you never really know where Tesla is going to go in the short term. So keep in mind, any predictions that I have for Tesla in the short term literally probably holds no water whatsoever. It could go any way possible. Tesla is extremely volatile and a lot of people love to short this stock. So the price is always all over the place. That's why this week, I was expecting like another stagnant week where we either just maintain that general baseline trend that we've been seeing so far, or we see another downturn where it drops even more, even lower. But it actually ended up with a huge bullish day for Tesla. So that's really why I want to emphasize that it's extremely difficult to predict where Tesla is going to be in the short term. And that's why I like to focus more on the long term for stocks. I honestly think investing is pretty easy if you're focused on the long term rather than the short term, because it's much easier, in my opinion, to say that this stock is going to grow tremendously in the long term compared to where this stock is going to be in 2 weeks or where this stock is going to be after earnings. So in my opinion, investing isn't too difficult if you take on that long term perspective. Now, if you're not thinking long term, then it becomes a little bit more difficult because you have less time, meaning sometimes less of a risk tolerance when it comes to investing in short term, whereas you have a much higher risk tolerance with long term because you have more time for a recovery to happen if there is a black swan event or if the stock just goes into a downturn for a while. So with all of that being said, the stock is still dominating in my opinion. For it to be at this $1,500 marker, I'd definitely say it's dominating, just considering where we were at like on June 29th. Just think about this. Just around a month ago on June 29th, this stock price was at $988 and now we are at $1,537. That's near double the stock price. Just think if it was at 1,800 right now. So we're pretty close to doubling where it was at on June 29th. So this stock is still dominating regardless of what it has done recently. Yes, we had this huge peak on July 13th. I really wish we could have maintained that growth rate at least by the end of the day and sort of like kept it going from there on. I would be completely satisfied if we hit this marker on July 13th and then just stayed flat for the rest of the way until now, because that was such a huge growth day. And it was actually really sad to see my portfolio go up like $8,000 in one day and then all of a sudden just drop by everything and then even go into the negative for gains for that day just by the end of the day. So I lost every single bit of progress on July 13th. Definitely a sad day. I was feeling so good until that end of the day where I saw that it dropped all the way back down and I lost all of the progress. But like I said, I think $1,500 is the sweet spot for Tesla right now. Anything that is significantly over $1,500, I think there will be some people taking profits and selling off just to get those profits early because they're kind of either worried about the short term or even the long term for Tesla. And honestly, anything under $1,500 and especially under $1,400, I think there will be a lot of smart investors buying in when the stock is on sale, because yes, Tesla is at a premium and I think it will always be at a premium price at least within the next 10 years or so. But if your investment strategy is from a long-term perspective, then I still think it's a smart investment decision to even purchase the stock where it's at currently, which is like $1,500. So like I said, if it does go significantly over $1,500, for example, if we start hitting like $1,700, $1,800 in the near term, so like by September 22nd, then I think we may be some people taking profits, but still we could have the majority of people just holding, and that would still lead to the stock increasing in value even past $1,800 per share. So I do think that this stock will grow significantly in the long term. As I've mentioned in other videos, I think it is realistic to expect, in the bullish case, a share price of $10,000 per share by 2030. I think that's honestly a realistic expectation if this company continues on the path that it is on with growth right now and optimization. I think that's a huge benefit of this company, is how they're very efficient in production and optimization of their factories. So as long as Tesla can keep up this rate, and honestly if they prioritize growth over profits even more like they have been recently with discounting prices on the Model Y and stuff like that, then I think they can grow significantly, because I think what they're really worried about the most right now is growth rather than profits. Yes, profits are great and they were really good for, the consecutive 4 quarters in a row for S&P 500 criteria eligibility, but I think what really matters to Tesla is growth, to just make sure that they're doing what Amazon did many years ago, which is pretty much investing every single bit of their profits into the company, investing back into the company and scaling their businesses to where, yes, they may not be making a lot of profit, but they're spending a lot of money in that moment to ensure in the future that they make a total huge amount of profit when their business is eventually scaled so much that all of these other small businesses can't even compete with them, to where they basically have a monopoly. And that is exactly what Amazon has done. And I think that's very possible with Tesla as well, as long as they keep on building factories, and hopefully sometime soon another purely battery factory just focused on batteries only instead of vehicles. I think that would be beneficial also, because eventually as we get more vehicle factories, we're going to need more vertical integration with additional battery factories as well, in addition to the one that exists in Nevada, because if there becomes more and more factories, there's eventually going to be a higher demand for batteries that just exceed the maximum output at the Nevada factories. So eventually there will be another battery factory needed. But like I've said, scaling businesses is absolutely huge. I think many companies have learned a lot from watching what Amazon has done over time. And I think that Tesla is pretty comparable to Amazon in terms of just a positive future and them always having their hand in the cookie jar when it comes to optimization, efficiency, and other huge factors involving renewable energy and the upcoming ever-expanding EV market. So with all of this being said, yes, Tesla is dominating so far. In the recent days, we haven't seen any all-time highs, but as I've said earlier, on July 13th, we hit an all-time high for Tesla, and I think that we could possibly be hitting an all-time high by September 22nd. Now, keep in mind, don't get too overhyped and expect this to be an absolute thing to happen, such as like all-time high Tesla share prices by September 22nd. Like I've said before, people like to factor in things in the stock market a lot earlier than when it actually happens. So the share price that we're seeing now could already be factoring in the September 22nd Battery Investor Day event. So don't get your hopes up if we don't see a significant price increase by then or even after the event, because I think it's honestly just best to yeah, you can keep up with Tesla stock prices and stuff like that, but what really matters is just focusing on the long term and not worrying too much about all of the noise in between now and when you actually want to sell many years in the future, or when I want to sell at least, I'd say. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to smash that like button. Like I've said before, it really does help me out and it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And also feel free to sign up to Robinhood and Webull in the description below. If you sign up with my referral links to those brokers, then you'll get some free stocks. And then also with Webull right now, you can get up to 60 free stocks depending on how much money you deposit. So that's definitely nice passive income if you've planned on beginning investing anyways. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.